Good morning, I'm back at it. I'm going to be working on the skid loader itself instead of the engine at the moment. Now, the oil reservoir is the main frame on this skid loader. There's a 3200 Series A. The other one I have is the 3200 Series B, and they have a separate oil reservoir up front here. And one of the other things I realized is maybe it's because it's such a big oil reservoir connected to so much iron to dissipate heat, it doesn't have an oil cooler on the back of the engine, hydraulic oil cooler like the Series B does. But seeing it's been sitting here for a year and a half, and God knows how long before that, I looked for the drain plug to drain water out of the hydraulic tank before it gets disturbed. And it's toward the front on the other side, and right now the skid loader is tilting to the rear, so I'm going to jack it up so it's at least level, or else tilting forward just a little bit, and then I'll get underneath. I'll probably let it sit for a day before I do it, but then I'll get underneath and see if I drain water out of the hydraulic reservoir. So I'm going to get it jacked up. There, now I feel I have it jacked up sufficiently high enough for draining water off of the bottom of the hydraulic tank. So I'm going to let it sit for a full day before I do that, just to let it equalize, and then we'll see what's in it tomorrow. So now I'm going to start scraping the grease off. I got the camera aimed right. Now you'll note there are shims. So now to keep track of which ones were where, not that it'd make a difference with a different engine. Everything might be machined slightly different, but I'll probably just put them back where they were. Well, you don't have to sit and watch me scrape all that grease off. Oh, good morning, everyone. A little later, I'm going to try pulling the drain plug on that hydraulic oil reservoir on the skid loader, see if there's moisture in it. But right now, curiosity's just gotten me to open up this. I think it's a filter housing for the intake of the hydraulic oil going to the hydrostatic drives. So I want to open this up and see what's inside it. Maybe there's a filter in there I can order. And sure enough, there it is. I think. And it has a screen. Everything looks nice and clean, so that's a good sign. But this only filters the oil going through the hydrostatic drive units. I'm going to see if there's a filter in the tank or a screen that filters the oil going through the pump for the lift units. So we'll get a look at that here in a little bit. So here I am, weaseled my way underneath the lift arms, and if this is a serviceable screen or filter, it sure wouldn't be very easily serviceable, because you'd have to take, it's underneath the hydraulic hoses and the hydrostatic drive pump. But I want to pull it and see what's in there. If I can. I'll bring you back when I'm ready to lift this out of here. Well, it wiggled a little bit. Oh, let's see what's under there. And yes, it's a screen, not a filter per se. And look at some of the debris on it. But I will be cleaning that screen out. I'm just going to set it right back down in place for now. So now I'm going to go back in the house and get on the internet and see if I can find a filter for this. Like I say, this is one machine I decided now I'm going to just stick money into it right away, because some of it's so hard to, even this filter, I think you'd have to take the whole housing off. I know you would, in order to change it. So I'm just going to take a chance on the rest of the skid loader being good and put in a new filter right off the bat. Hey everyone, now I think it's time to crawl under there and see if I can remove that drain plug from the hydraulic oil reservoir. Fun times. I hope the camera's pointed at it. First, let's see. I'm expecting it to be a, yeah. See if that's square or hex. I think it's square. I don't know. I'm gonna get my 1/2-inch ratchet, see if that fits in it. Oh, that's way too big. Maybe it's 3/8. Oh. No, way too big for that. I still haven't. Some of you might give me heck for this, but that's just the way it's going to be. We're trying vice grips. I mean, I'm having my doubts because it's probably never been out of there since it was built. Oh, it turns. Look at that. And ever so carefully. Anyone that guess if there's water? Basically not a drop of water coming out. None. That's a real good sign, and the oil looks nice and clean. That's going right back in there for now. There. That's back in. I didn't see a single drop of water on my hand. So, let's continue. Now I'm thinking about doing something I was trying to stay away from. I think I'm actually going to take the boom off because I have to disconnect the 2 hoses that I'm replacing anyway. And then from then on, all I have to do is pull this pin and this pin on either side. And seeing my crane truck has been working so good, I should be able to chain it and pick it up and drive ahead and let these cylinders lay down. And it will make it so incredibly much easier to work on, finish cleaning up, and put back together that I think I'm going to move ahead with seeing how these pins come out. And if they come out easy enough, that's going to be my plan of attack, is take the boom off. Because I think you can just see how incredibly much easier it'll be to work on putting it back together. And you know how it is, when it's easier to work on, you generally do things more complete and get a better job done. So I'm going to get at that. Well, you couldn't ask for that pin to come out any easier. Let's try the one on the other side. Same with this one, the pin came right out. And you can see they're greasy, so that means the machine was taken care of and greased. They don't have split pins in there, 1/4 inch bolts put in and bent. We'll see if they come out. Oh. Got that? One out. This one I know is going to come out, but those are dry. I don't even see grease fittings on them anywhere. Huh. We got to get those hoses out of the way there. There's a clip here holding those hoses. Unfortunately, the bolt is came loose easily. Now those hoses will move out of the way. Oh, that bolt broke off. You gotta get a punch. And this time it has to be a punch, not a screwdriver punch. Yep, that's moving better. And another one extracted. And that pin moves. Got that pin out. Now it's time to get the hoses disconnected. Now I have to take this clip off that holds the pipes in place. So I can move these out enough to get a big wrench on that fitting to keep it from turning. Oh, let's see if the slow man can get it loose. Oh yeah, can't lose real easy. Let's see how this one breaks loose. Oh. And that one broke loose. Now I gotta get my bags and zip ties to close those ends up. Off it comes. Over goes the bag. I don't know where my zip ties are. You know me, I lose everything. Oh. I don't know where my zip ties are. So electrical tape is going to do the job. Now you can see I have the boom even steeper now because this should be a pretty heavy pick for the old Ford. Let's see how it goes. the case is going to be here. Now I can get it running without the boom out of that. If you want to tip on your butt, I'll be able to check out the drive. And if everything seems good, found another hose that really needs replacing, and I'm thinking now, seeing them taking the boom off was really a good idea. I'll be able to try driving it even though it'll want to sit on its butt. But if everything seems good to drive, there's going to be a lot more hoses I'm going to replace right away when I put the boom on, because I intend to keep this machine, hopefully use it for a long time. And so I might as well put the hoses on now, instead of in the middle of something breaks and you squirt oil on it. So let's start the old Ford up and see if it'll pull ahead. Now it's plain to see. It will just be incredibly easier to finish cleaning and to reassemble it. Just incredibly easier. It took me about an hour to take the boom off. I'm sure it'll take a little longer than that to put it on, because you know you have to line things up and stuff. But I think it was well worth the effort, because this whole body just doesn't climb around that stuff and reach upside down and stretch like it used to. So I think I'm gonna call it a day. I kind of know my limit as to how much I can do each day, and I think I've reached it. I gotta show you one feature now you can really see. They're on the 32A and B series old International skid loaders. You see this walking beam on the front here. That pivots in the middle. That's attached to both sides. And then there's a pivot. And these, I'm going to call them walking beams. When you go over uneven ground, the walking beam on the front that connects the two equalizes, and it'll keep all 4 tires on the ground. And it's a lot more complex than the modern, or most of them, which are just rigid. But from when I used to run my old 32 Series B skid loader, it just makes an immense difference. It doesn't rock and roll over uneven ground near as much, and it just gets a lot more traction for digging when all 4 tires have more of the equal pressure on the ground. So I'm going to let you with that. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you when I continue.